Hey, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Talk Tuesday. If this is your first time, Talk Tuesday is our weekly segment where we go over tips to help you enhance your finances. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today we will be discussing financial literacy as this month is Financial Literacy Awareness Month. So let me pull my comments up. Thank you for tuning in. Definitely put a comment in. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And so we're going to get started. So, financial literacy is having the skills, having the knowledge, understanding, how to be successful with the finances that you have, with the resources that you have, and fully understanding hey, thank you for joining, understanding what it is, you're doing to be successful. Hey, with what you have. So we always speak about budgeting. Budgeting is a part of our financial literacy, saving, knowing what our savings is, setting those savings plans. Hello. Um, Setting goals, understanding our debt. Hello, thank you all for hopping on. Understanding your debt, understanding how to create a plan to actually get rid of that debt, understanding your credit, understanding what makes your credit score, understanding what affects it, and how the things that you do may make it go up or make it go down. You have to think about, let's see, I have a couple things written down. Investing and planning for your retirement, thinking about, preparing for that in advance, thinking about the different types of accounts, how different ones will help you, how different ones might not be as beneficial for you as they might be for other people, learning about investing. Some investments might not be good for you, whereas some investments might be good for other people. Insurances. Now, insurances, we're going to go a little deeper into insurances today. And lastly, well, not lastly, but just to name a couple, planning for your estate, thinking about those things. Now, we have some people who don't care about those things. They don't want to talk about those things. Now, that's not my favorite topic either. However, it's something that we have to consider. We don't want to be in a situation where we don't prepare and we set our family members back because they have to come up with, the money to, you know, ultimately, I don't want to say that, but they have to come up with that money. You don't want to put them in a situation where they have to do a fish fry or a GoFundMe or, spend their life savings because you were one of those people who said, well, when I'm going, I don't have to worry about it. I'll be going. That type of feeling is very selfish. And it literally puts someone else in a bad situation where they have to figure it out. And then now they're behind the ball because they have to, they care about you. They wouldn't want you, thank you. They wouldn't want you to go out like that or in a bad way. So they're going to do what they can. But you being prepared and having things put in place, think about a will, think about, but like beforehand, power of attorneys, have things together so that it doesn't cause any issues and stuff like that. So I would say those are all things that, a part of financial literacy. Those different things all together have things to do with, with your money and how you're figuring it out, and planning it the right way will make things better for you while you're living and afterwards. But today we're going to go over, I have, four different insurances. So we're going to talk about four different insurances today. But I just wanted to really briefly just go over different types of things that come up and how they affect our finances since it's Financial Literacy Month. It is very hard to talk about that. You see, I was all over the place because I didn't, you don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to kill the mood. But it's a part of life, and it happens. We need to be prepared for it, and our family needs to be prepared for it, and something we have to do. Something we have to do. So all I would say is, start earlier and plan ahead. So we're going to talk about health insurance, health insurance, health insurance. Health insurance, how that has something to do with our finances, because it depends on our health. It depends on our health. It depends on, there are different type of plans. You have the HMO, you have the PPO. So the difference between those two is the HMO is going to be cheaper. It's going to be much cheaper, as far as what's coming out of your paycheck. But the HMO is going to send you through a little more hoops. You can only go here. You can't go here. If you're down here, nope, you got to go all the way up here because only you can only go here. But if you're someone who does not go to the doctors often, then that wouldn't bother you because It's not a big inconvenience for you, and it's saving you money. Um, and it might be actually a higher deductible. Whereas someone with a PPO, they're going to pay more out of their paycheck every time. But something goes down, they go right up the street. They can go wherever they feel like going, and they might have to only pay maybe $400 for their deductible. Whereas someone with the HMO might have to pay something really high. So there's different types of insurances. But all I say is sometimes we'll go with the cheaper because it's cheaper, but we have to think about in the long run when we're going to the doctors, when we go to the hospital, how much is that bill going to be when I leave the hospital? I don't want to be in the hospital thinking about, well, I want to feel better, but when I leave out of here, I'm going to be in so much debt. So then it makes you feel like you got to get out of the hospital quickly because you don't want that. You don't want to be here longer and run your bill up higher. So if you're someone who goes through a couple health challenges, then what you will want to do is have the plan that better suits your life. If you know you'll have a couple appointments, then maybe you would get the plan that you pay higher amount for, so that when you go, you'll pay a little more upfront to get to your deductible. But once you get there, then most of it be covered by your insurance. Of course, you'll have to pay like what's the other one? Not deductibles. Can't think of it right now, but you have your deductibles and then you have your copays. So you'll still have to pay, stuff like that. But as far as when you have big things, and then you have to think about your dental too. And so it's a lot of things you have to think about with your health insurance. But I just wanted to just say, when thinking about that, think about your finances, think about the future, and really look at your options. Really go through. Don't be the person when it's October, it's enrollment time, and you're only looking at the top part and looking at how much is coming out of my check. Because then something comes up and then now you're looking down the bottom, but it's too late because you're locked into this plan that's probably might not be the right fit for you. So take the time to look at it and view it and pick the proper plan for yourself. Co-pays and co-insurance. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Next, we're going to talk about life insurance. Let's talk about life insurance. So with life insurance, you'll have your term policy, you'll have your whole policy. And with the difference in that, it depends on which policy you get. It depends on financially where you're at and what you can afford to pay. It depends on what you're planning for in the future. It really depends on a lot of things. But in finances, we have to look at the bigger picture. So if it may be something that's like a little bit high for us now, but we think about the benefits that it will have in the future, then maybe we might spring for the higher one because we know that it'll be beneficial later. So the difference is for a term policy, the term policy will be much, 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 much cheaper and what you'll pay every month for this policy. And with the term policy, you're going to be covered for a term period, which is a certain amount of years. Now, let's say you have this policy and you can afford to pay it and it's affordable and everything like that. But maybe that policy was for 10 years and you live for 12 years. Guess what? Your policy is done. Your policy is over. You lost everything you put into it. And now your family had to figure everything else out without that policy. Now, if you're someone who's older and maybe that you have less time, and not to sound so harsh, but if you have less time, then a term policy might be everything you need because you'll probably be, unfortunately, be passing away within that time period. If you're someone who gets, maybe you're younger, which I would highly recommend if you're younger, to get a whole policy. The whole policy is going to cost you more, but the younger you are when you get it will be more affordable. But the thing with that is it's going to cost you more, but let's say you pay for a policy for $25,000 and then you keep paying. Remember, you started out younger, so you keep paying. Eventually you paid your premium up to the $25,000. You keep paying, and now your policy is worth $30,000. Now your policy is worth $40,000. Now your policy is worth $50,000. So that's amazing. So now your service and things like that might not cost that much. So guess what? There's all that extra money. So it could be your family gets to have that extra money and do other things, maybe put them in a better place, financially, or you yourself, as it is your policy, you're alive. You can borrow from that policy and maybe take care of some things you have, maybe pay off some bills, maybe put some money into some savings, maybe fix your house up and those things. And then, you'll be paying back into the policy to kind of catch it back up. But it's tax-free. That is your policy. Or if you decide, I don't want to pay it back up, then you still have the amount that you had. You still have the policy. There's still money available. So That's something to think about if you want to get a term policy or a whole life policy. Thank you. You're very welcome. Let's talk about auto policies. All right, so let's talk about our cars. So we have liability and we have collision. Now, when you have a car note, you're paying every month for your car. You don't fully own it yet. You and the bank own it. You're going to have the collision. So with that kind of policy, if you get into an accident, then the policy will cover you and your car and the person who you had the accident with. Depending on what you pick, you might even actually include the people that were in the car. Like if someone was driving your car, maybe they weren't on the policy. Like there's a whole bunch of different things. So I don't want to go deep into it, but just understand that collision will cover your car and then the other car, whoever was in the accident, regardless if it's your fault or not, because you're paying for this insurance. Whereas you have liability. This is typically for people who have a car that's paid off, or maybe an older car where maybe they might think that it's might not cost a lot to afford to, if something were to happen, maybe they can pay it out of pocket. It all depends. It depends on what your thinking is. But with the liability, then you would pay a cheaper amount. But if something were to happen, there was an accident, the insurance will only cover the other person's car, not your car. So with that policy, it's cheaper, but if something goes down, that person's car is fixed and your car is sitting broke down until you can afford to get it fixed, or if you can even afford to get it fixed, and then you're sitting with no car. So then, you got to think about the things that come with that as well. Of course, we never want to have an accident, but life happens. So, I know this for a fact because I've been in several accidents where I was sitting still and someone ran in the back of me. So sometimes it's not really our fault, but, definitely have your insurance. But just think about those two different options. Yes, no good. So think about those options. And the last insurance we're going to talk about is property insurance. So we have property insurance for, look, my friend's coming by with all this noise. But you have renters insurance, you have homeowners insurance. So if you're the homeowner, you're buying the home, you have homeowners insurance, and that's going to cover the whole home, everything inside of it, all of your belongings, the just everything. So your homeowners insurance is you're for the home, your things inside of it, probably some other things as well. Maybe if you lose your job or different things. Then you have renters insurance, which doesn't cover where you're at. Now, if you're somewhere renting and your landlord does not have the insurance, which typically they probably do or they don't, you would be stuck if there was a fire or a burglary if you didn't have renters insurance, because then you're stuck with your stuff not being, you had to pay for all of your stuff all over again. Whereas if you just get renters insurance, it'll be for your all of your items in the house, probably loss of work as well. And just, you want to be careful with your own stuff. You want to be careful with your own stuff. Don't be versus not prepared and feel like, well, I don't own this house, I don't need any insurance on this. But you have to be mindful that things happen, floods, fires, and people breaking in right now. People are doing too much. A lot of things they're doing with the cars, but be mindful of your home as well. So I would definitely say get your renter's insurance. And renter's insurance will be more affordable than homeowner's insurance. But if you're buying the home, definitely you're going to have your homeowner's insurance. But consider those, whatever situation you're in, have your insurance. Think about that. That little bit of premium you're paying will be so beneficial for you if something were to happen. So those will cover all of my tips for today. Today we talked about financial literacy. I would love to let you all know that I will be having a giveaway. I'll be announcing next week on Monday on my Instagram page. And what else? If you're on my email list, then you will find out on Friday this week. Again, I thank you all for just tuning in for Talk Tuesday weekly. We meet weekly, and I want to share with you all. So most of you might know I'm in school now pursuing my degree in accounting. So, I say I go live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I post a video every Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern. But what I'm going to do for this month, I'm not going to do any Friday videos. I'm just going to stick to our Tuesday live so I can kind of focus on my school and not have you looking for a video that's not coming. So just to give you that heads up. But thank you. I appreciate you. And hope this information was helpful for you and made you think a little bit differently. The rest of the month, we'll be talking about different things in financial literacy. You are very, very welcome. Thank you for tuning in again. I love you all. Happy budgeting. And I'll see you all next week. Tune in to my Instagram, Enhancing Your Finances, and you'll see about the giveaway on Monday. Oh, you said we love a giveaway. Good, good, good. I haven't done one in a while, so that's why I said, let me just do one. Thank you. Don't forget to like. Yeah. Thank you. She said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That's right. Thank you. Yes, it was. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. See, I'm all excited, hanging on, still talking. All right. Have a good night again. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next week.